Right then, for the first one this year, we're going to keep it nice and simple. Right then, as I said, we're going to keep this nice and simple for the first one of the year. And what I'm going to turn is a very simple box. Right. In the lathe I have a piece of Tigerwood that's round about, oh jeez, I can't remember now. It's round about 5¼ inches long by 3 3/4 wide. Right, and as I said, I'm just going to turn a very simple box out of it. So first thing I got to do is round it off, stick a tenon on each end. So I'll do that, and we'll get on with this. Right then, she's rounded off, and I have a tenon on each end to grab it in the jaws. Now what I've got to do now is pick out how big I want the lid and part it, and I'm going to part it with a narrow parting tool because I want this cut to be as narrow as possible. Alright, so there's the cut. Now I'm just going to bring that over to the bandsaw and cut it, and I'll be back in a second. Right, now we have a nice clean cut with as little as possible taken out of the middle of it. Right, throw the first part of this onto the chuck and we get going with it. Now then, the first thing I need to decide is, do I want this box to close where the lid goes on the outside or the lid goes on the inside? There has to be a little rim for the hold closed, right? And I need to decide whether I need this piece, whether I need to see this piece of the top, right, or this piece of the bottom. Right, my preference is to see the top when I'm doing these. So the first thing I have to do is to cut. I need to straighten that out. That's not sitting straight in the chuck. The first thing I'm going to do is actually straighten this out. I'm not super worried about the outside because it's all going to have to be fitted together anyway and shaped in together. Right. First thing I'm going to do is cut. The rim where this is going to go. Nice and straight. Just straighten out that part. Now we're straight. As I said, the shape on this isn't all that difficult to do. It's just a simple box I'm doing. So all I really want to do is curve this end in a little. Keeping it very simple. Right. Now I need to hollow that. So, as usual, when I'm hollowing something, make it easy on yourself. I'm going to drill out as much as I can. check how deep I need to go. So don't go too deep. Yeah, that looks pretty close. So I need to go to that shoulder, basically. Alright then, that's the drilling done. Now that is still way too thick of a wall. So what I need to do is bring that in a bit. And just looking at that, I need to bring that lip in a bit more. That is not deep enough at all for what I want. So I need to bring this in a bit more. I want to make sure that the box is solid. Now I'm not going to put a pop fit on this because I don't want it. I've said this before when I'm doing boxes. When you're doing a box, you need to know what you're going to use it, what's its purpose basically. And if it's not going to be carried around the place, you do not want a pop fit. I've done a video years back on how to do a pop fit, and I can't remember if it was one of the silent ones or not before I started talking in videos. But it's basically an easy way of getting a pop fit. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link up there. If I get asked enough, I'll do it again while I'm talking. I'm nearly sure that was just when I started the channel and I wasn't talking in videos. Right, now what I want to do is back hollow this out a little to get the wall thinner. Right, now I'm going to sand and finish the inside of this. So I'll do that and I'll be back in a sec. Alright then, just buffing the wax off. And what I've done is I've sanded and finished the inside, and I've sanded and finished this rim down to that edge. Because I won't be touching these again. So just a simple finish on the inside. Right, we'll take this off and stick the other piece on. You know, I'm not finishing the outside of this bit yet because I need to make the lid fitted first before I do anything. So we stick this bit on. Make sure the end is squared up. Parting tool. I'm going to take that ridge off. Make sure everything's nice and square. Now, what I want to do is, with a set of calipers, I want to get the measurement from there to there, the outside of the two of them. Well, because I want a good fit, I want to get the measurement that's slightly smaller so I can creep up on it. Which is that one, right? And now with a parting tool, I'm going to cut in there until I get to the depth that I want and the width that I want. Now, it should be too big. It is slightly. So another cut. So just taking slight little bits off. I say this every time I'm doing something like this. Remember, when you're cutting, you're taking off double what you actually cut because you're cutting from both sides. There we go. That's on. Now we're just going to get it to the right depth. I'll just drop that. There we go, at the right depth. Grind match is pretty good. As I said, I'm not worried about the outside of this at all. Now, here's a little tip. To make sure that everything kind of closes with a tight seal around here, what you want to do is very carefully just tilt that edge slightly inwards. Very slightly. It doesn't need to be a lot. Just very slightly tilted inwards. Right. Okay. Need to go a little bit deeper now. So I've taken that in. That little tilt will close that gap there right up for you so that there is no gap showing. It's just a little trick I learned a long time ago. Right, just tilt that ever so slightly. Now we're just going to hollow this out. Much better. Now I'm going to sand and finish the inside of that, being very careful not to over sand that edge there or this. I don't want to change the dimensions of there or here at all. What I really want to finish is in there. Right, so I'll do that and I'll be right back. Right, just buffing the wax off. It's quite pretty in there. Hopefully I've got the loose fit I'm looking for, and I don't need to go cut it again to take some more off. Let me see. Yes. No rattle. But it will come on and off. It's exactly what I'm looking for. Grain match is not too bad at all, actually. Which is good. Right. Remember when you're doing boxes, I've mentioned it already, but what's it going to be used for? Basically, if it's going to be carried around a place, you want a pop fit. If it's just going to be sitting on somewhere and used, you need the lid just to be able to come off without having to hold this part. Right now, pull the tailstock up so we can get the outside of this done. Right, don't need much pressure, I just need to hold it together. As I don't need a lot of pressure, I just need to hold it together. Right, now we've finished the outside of this, and all I want to do is make them turn this into one cohesive piece. Means bringing this down to meet the other one. Right, I can mess about with the lid and stuff afterwards. The main thing I want to do is get this into one piece. I basically want to take that step out of it. I still feel a very slight step there, so go again. Not right, no step there really. So we take this, finish the cut all the way down. Right. Put that curve back into it. Right, I want to curve the top slightly as well. As I said, what I'm doing is a very simple box. The reason I like doing something simple like this after Christmas is every year they're reading the forums on Facebook and stuff that guys are just at the starting, they just got late for Christmas. And what will be a good project to do? A simple box is a very good project to do as a beginner. Right, I need to match that curve in a bit better. So I need to come in a bit more. Yeah, that's better. Right, now I'm going to sand that and finish it. And then we'll go to taking those two tenons off the ends. So I'll do that, I'll be back in a sec. Alright then, just buffing the wax off. It's quite nice, happy enough with the shape. As I said, this is a simple project. And they actually sell quite well. If you do, what I found with boxes is, if you do really fancy ones, they don't sell all that well, but simple ones like this do. And like for every one of like a fancy one with a fancy finial and stuff on it that you sell, you'll sell 10 of these. And an awful lot of that is to do with the cost, because it's down to time. And there we go, there's the outside of it. You can really see the way the grain matches in. Not too bad at all. Now we get to finishing the two ends. Right, so we'll take this apart. Right, and we get to finishing the ends. So I'll set up for that and I'll be right back. Right, then we're going to do the lid first. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using this part of the jaw here on this rim here. Pete over Twisted Trees has a great idea for doing this, and I just haven't got around to getting one yet, Pete. You know the little rubber wristbands you get, they're normally for charity and stuff. If you put one of those around here, you get a much better grip. Brilliant idea, Pete. I just haven't got around to getting one of them yet, mate. I'll leave a link to Pete's channel below. He has some great ideas. Now, it's very gently hold it on there. Don't want to crack anything. Right. Very gently hold on. Now finish that part. And the base is going to be the same, so I won't bother showing that. We'll just do that just so you get the idea of how to do it. Right. Grab a spindle gouge, start her up, and just start taking this away. So sharpen this gouge a little bit. Much better. cut in from the outside. Make sure it's nice and neat. Right, now stop it. Take this away. Check it's still solid enough that I can cut. It is. Now very gently I'm going to take out that last little bit. It's slightly too heavy there. Now if you want, you can put a design or something in the lid here. I'm trying to keep this one as simple as I can, so I won't do that. Right, so I'll sand and finish this bit. Do the exact same thing with this end of this, and then I'll give you a better look at it. So I'll do that and be back in a sec. Right then, now we have a nice simple little box. A good project for a newer turner. As I said, I'm doing this one really simple because I've seen an awful lot on the forums on Facebook that an awful lot of guys have put up, I just got me lathe, yada yada yada, what do I do, that kind of stuff. Right, this is a really simple project for newer turners. Hopefully the video is giving you a few tips, like know what the box is for first, so that you either get a lift off. Now that one could actually do with being a little bit looser, right, but you actually get a lift off cap, or you get a pop cap, whichever one you fancy. Try and get your grain to match, that kind of stuff, right? They're a simple project and they're very good to do. They're useful. So if you got nothing out of that or like the video, if you wouldn't mind dropping a like on the video, and I'll see you in the next one.